Now, if poverty exists, what do people do about it? From a religious perspective, there are a number of things you can do that aren't dissimilar to the fact if you weren't religious. And here are some of those responses to poverty that you could do. One, you could clearly donate money to those who need it. Two, you could go out to the country and volunteer your time. You could, if you're religious, and this I suppose is the one clear religious part, you could pray for those in need in church. Attend church and pray. You could give up some time and work in a charity shop. There is the campaign recently called Make Poverty History, where you bought the white band and you also sort of campaigned the government to try and change the trade rules on unfair trade to poorer countries and get the debt written off. You could get political protest, join a pressure group or a political group that lobbies the government on trying to get debt reduction and reduction in poverty for these countries that are in real need. You could also fundraise in a variety of different ways as well. There are some teachings from the Bible on caring for others, and in this unit those teachings would relate directly to the poor. And there are three here on the board. The first thing to say would be that Christians believe everyone is created in the image of God and deserves to be treated with respect, especially the poor. No one should be neglected because within them is something of God, and that should not be mistreated in any way. There is a parable called The Sheep and the Goats. Now, a parable is a story with a meaning. So they aren't real sheep and they're not real goats. So this is a story Jesus told about treating the poor and how he expects his followers to do that. He split the sheep and goats to one side and the other. The sheep were said to have fed the hungry, clothed the naked, gave water to the thirsty. The goats were those who ignored those. And Jesus said, whatever you did to one of these, you did it to me. So those who did it were rewarded. Those who didn't do it were sent away and in a sense punished. So this story shows that helping the poor is not an option, it's a duty, something that religious people are required to do. The story of the Good Samaritan is one you should all be familiar with as well. And in this parable it shows that you should help those in need. The Good Samaritan saw someone he'd injured, helped him, bandaged him and took him to an inn to be looked after. And this story directly could relate to helping the poor as well. So there are three clear Bible teachings on how Christians should relate to the poor.